What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Murasame Kai from Gundam Seed Freedom. An improved version of the original Murasame, it has an updated silhouette and transformation, substituting its predecessor as Orb's frontline mobile suit. 10 runners, a sticker sheet, and a correction sheet make up the contents of my particular kit, and besides the manual corrections that may get solved in future prints, the build of the Murasame Kai is stupid easy and refreshing in a way, since we haven't seen the original Murasame get updated with modern engineering. For having a simple color palette, black plastic that is lenient with nut marks, and an elementary internal structure characteristic of grunt units, the Murasame Kai effectively dethrones the Lightning Buster Gundam as the simplest kit of the line, despite revolving around the Seed action system construction. Even still, the head does require some extra care because it features a number of minuscule plastic pieces. Otherwise, it's a thoroughly enjoyable build no matter your experience level in the hobby. All put together, and the finished product of the high-grade Murasame Kai is kind of giving me that G-Witch shock in a way, since what resulted from an elementary level build is an astounding looking kit that represents the source material faithfully. That does depend on what source you look to though, as the kit takes from the CGI model as opposed to the line art, identified by the larger shoulders, longer front skirt, and more angular front ankle armor with a deeper slit. And credit to the wiki's editors, the article made me realize why my outlook for the Murasame Kai was so polarized. However, I think the decision to base it on the CGI model was a smart one, as the proportions are more balanced and look more like a typical Gundam, replicated sharply by the kit. And parts as small as the forehead camera, head vulcans, wing trims, and muzzles on the tail stabilizer are separate parts. And may I remind you that this is a grunt kit. Stickers are used on the eyes, the white on the inner wing, and the navigation lights on the legs and backpack wings. Meanwhile, the color choices are accurate, thank god, and the only missing paint tabs are on the rear head camera, the orange on the large missiles, the black on the shin hatches, and the grey and orange on the outer and inner leg vents respectively, none of which are that noticeable when absent. However, I would highly suggest panel lining the kits, as despite the heavy amounts of surface detail, the kit does look a little bit plain without them being enhanced. But thanks to the strong visual presentation and the absence of egregious seam lines and nut marks, I'd be happy to leave the high-grade Murasame Kai as it is. Articulation wise, while the head is on a hinged ball jointed neck that allows for some basic movement range, side to side tilts will be restricted due to the cheek fins. The shoulders are on the familiar 2-point swivels, as well as the standard ball and socket joints. The shoulder armor is separate for the arms to move out just under 90 degrees. There's a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and ball jointed wrists. The Seed action system provides the waist with amazing ab crunches, as well as a waist roll and sideward rotation. Front and side skirts can move away from the amazing kicks towards all directions, while the weapon holsters can rotate separately. There's a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, movable ankle armor, and hinged ball jointed ankles that have moving toes and can easily get snagged on the rear leg armor. Finally, the tail stabilizer and wings can move up and down, while the wings can flap out and the missile racks can rotate. Articulation of the Murasame Kai is fantastic, with the only real limitations being in the head and ankle tilts, which are relatively minor. Structural rigidity is also great, with no parts loosening up easily or falling off while posing. In terms of accessories, the Murasame Kai just starts up with a pair of holding hands. Meanwhile, its accessible loadout is that of the standard Gundam loadout, starting off with a high-energy beam rifle Hono Ikatsuchi. Featuring a movable handle and foregrip and 2 stickers for the scopes, it slides into the hands for use, or plugs into the weapon holsters for storage. The other holster houses the Type 72 beam saber Kanayago, also known as a beam saber that sandwiches into the hands for use with the provided SP-13 beams. Then there's the shield that plugs either beside or behind the forearms for the unit's defense, either with the tip pointed backwards like the Zeta Gundam, or forwards for more practical coverage. It's a basic armament that's not only adjustable by a ball joint, but also doesn't have a label in the manual at all, weirdly enough. Last but not least, there's a transformation block. With that, the chest plate, arms, legs, backpack, rifle, and shield are harvested from the main body. From there, rotate the wrists, deploy the chest fins, activate the reverse knees and point the toes down, fold out the wings and flare them to your preference before adjusting the missiles accordingly, separate the shield from the connector, and deploy the side flaps before assembling everything onto the transformed block. You can also flip up the tail stabilizer per the instructions, but I personally prefer to have it collapsed. The whole process is arguably one of the most minimalistic parts formations I've gone through in a while, as thanks to the duplicated skirts and beam saber, minimizing necessary disassembly, and the simple yet engaging transformation mechanics simplifying and enriching the process, resulting in a relatively enjoyable reassembly. The final product is quite honestly one of the best parts formations out there. Not only does it have the simplicity of the old high-grade Universal Century Zeta Gundam, but also has the heft and volume that it should. Coupled with a jet-like appearance that can't be easily busted, it's arguably one of the best looking Ultimos for a mobile suit in the franchise. Although some might find the gap between the skirts and the shield a bit jarring, which is where the optional drop tanks come in. They plug on underneath the wings and fill the somewhat uncanny gap perfectly, completing the mobile armor mode aesthetics. However, if you don't want to bother with taking them on and off, there are Murasame Kai units in the movie that have the tanks in mobile suit mode, so you can totally leave them on if you so choose. On the other hand, the universal backpack connection on the block also allows you to plug on compatible backpacks for mobile armor mode use as well. Whether they mesh well though, is up for you to judge. With all of the bombast that seed is known for, it's sometimes easy to wonder how well a more down-to-earth kit would compete in their ranks. Well, I'm glad to tell you that this knockoff Zeta Plus is one of my favorites of the Seed Freedom line. Yes, it's nothing more than a transforming grunt with a basic loadout and a Gundam head, but simplicity is what makes this kit so good to begin with. The straight build aesthetics that were produced from an elementary build is gee-which levels of astounding, with stickers and missing paint jobs being fewer than most of the line, necessary ones or otherwise. The solid articulation and simple weapon implementation work very much in this kit's favor, and even the transformation, traditionally the most tedious part of these types of kits, was simplified down to a short and sweet process that produces a result that is on par with the more complicated parts formers in the high-grade line. At the end of the day, the high-grade Murasame Kai is a wonderful kit, especially despite it being the most boring one of the line on paper. However, sometimes it isn't the vast feature set of a model kit that counts, but rather how it makes the entire package and experience uncomplicated and flawlessly enjoyable. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching, drop a like and comment if you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with the links down below. That said, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out guys, bye bye.